Is there a massive breakout inbound for the crypto market? This is a question that so many investors have had, especially throughout 2025, as the market's been a little bit back and forth. And so in today's video, I'm going to do my best to answer those questions for you and give you my opinion on whether or not I believe a massive breakout is inbound, not only just for Bitcoin, but for altcoins as well. And so we have a good bit to get into today, so let's not waste any more time. But all that I ask is that, listen, it's my birthday, so if you could smash that like button, I'd greatly appreciate it. So with that in mind, let's jump into it and let's start off with Bitcoin. So what we're looking at right now is the 1-day Bitcoin chart. And the reason we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin chart is because we are going to be using this structure right here to determine whether or not we think that Bitcoin's price is going to break to the upside, which of course would entail a massive breakout here for Bitcoin. Then, of course, we're going to funnel into altcoins. So whenever I look at the Bitcoin chart here, we can notice a structure drawn on the chart that we've talked about for a couple weeks now, being this descending channel. Now, some of you have said in the comments, Tyler, that's not a descending channel, that's a bull flag. And I actually want to say that I agree with you. I look at them as one and the same. Anytime that the crypto market or a crypto asset in general makes a move upwards that is followed by a descending channel, it creates what's called a bull flag. So this descending channel is just a part of the bull flag. So I think we're saying the same thing here. And so what that entails is that this structure, again, is a bull flag, which further entails that some sort of breakout to the upside, which is what people are looking for, could absolutely be on the way. I know a lot of people are talking about what's happened from a macroeconomic perspective. There's some geopolitics involved now. There's a ton of things that are impacting the crypto market. But when I rawly and purely look at this thing, the Bitcoin price, from a technical perspective, I can clear as day see a scenario in which I could see Bitcoin having a massive breakout inbound. Now, why? Is probably what you're wondering. Well, the reason that I say that is because from my analysis and studying the Bitcoin price for about 6 or 7 years now, I have noticed that there's an 80% plus chance that Bitcoin will break to the upside of a descending channel of this nature, or in other words, a bull flag of this nature. Now, all that means in very simple terms is that 80% of the time and more, when Bitcoin's price goes up straight, then it starts dropping in this nature, just like this, creating what's called a descending parallel channel. There's an over 80% chance that it breaks to the top side. And so obviously, if your question is, well, can we see a massive breakout for crypto? I would say, yeah, the answer is glaringly yes. I would even go as far to say as it's more likely that Bitcoin's price gives us a beautiful breakout upwards than it is that it doesn't happen. Now, obviously, listen, I'm vastly aware that there are many things happening outside the crypto market that are impacting the crypto market. Everything happening between Iran and Israel, even a little bit of Russia-Ukraine stuff still lingering there, right? We, of course, have tariffs. We have all of these things that are molding the way in which people perceive the economy, which will then further, of course, alter their risk tolerance, which will then alter their liquidity injection, which will then impact crypto. Listen, I'm vastly aware. But what I know is I can't control those things. I have no idea what's going to happen with those things. I think they'll work themselves out, but that's purely just a guess. So I cannot truly predict what's going to happen from a macroeconomic perspective. It would be a waste of time. But what I can do is use historical price data to determine what I believe is going to happen here in the crypto market. And from my analysis, I think that there is a higher percentage chance that Bitcoin's price breaks above $110,000, trying to make a run to what could be anywhere, if we use our gold and Fibonacci zone to determine this extension, which could be a move for Bitcoin anywhere from 121K to possibly 116K. And so the general answer, whenever it comes to Bitcoin specifically, is 100% absolutely. Now, does that mean it's going to happen today? Does that mean it's going to happen tomorrow? Does that mean it's going to happen the next day? No, it's probably going to take some time. Breaking out of these structures is not easy, but I do believe that it is very possible. And even if Bitcoin's price pulls all the way back to 97K, as long as we do not lose the bottom side of this descending structure, that door for Bitcoin is wide open, and I think we're going to walk through it. It's just a guess, but it would line up well that we maybe go sideways and stay in this throughout the rest of the summer, and then try to make a break out of this bad boy towards Q3 and Q4. I think that makes a lot of sense. That's only just a guess. I don't truly know what's going to happen. Okay. But with that in mind, to simply answer the question, do I think that Bitcoin's price can see a massive breakout sometime eventually, or possibly even soon? The answer is a astounding yes. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about altcoins, okay? Because the picture for altcoins has been rough recently. People have been very upset about altcoins recently, but I think they're missing the big picture. Now, before we get into that, guys, do not forget that if you do want to start trading crypto today, Bitcoin, altcoins, and many more on all the way up to 500x leverage, you can check out the link to BTCC down below. When you click that link down below, you are going to find this page, which is going to have a tutorial down about the exchange so you can learn about all the features and functions on the exchange. But also, I'm going to explain to you all of the perks and the benefits that you get from signing up today. But the best ones, guys, are 10% bonuses on any deposit over $500 and smaller than $100,000, meaning that you can get up to $10,000 to trade with today if you do sign up with the link down below. And you can enjoy up to 40% lower fees. So absolutely fantastic deal. One of the best on the market. So check out the link down below for that if you are interested. And secondly, do not forget, guys, that if you want to sign up for the crypto playbook, which I'm releasing in 22 days, you can sign up. It is a completely free resource. You will not have to spend $1 for any of the content in the crypto playbook. And that link is down below. And if you sign up for early access, I'm going to send you 2 chapters out the crypto playbook today and, kind of as a thank you. Okay. So check out those 2 things down below. Let me know what you think. But let's shift over to alts and let's talk about what's happening there. So when I look at the altcoin market, I like looking at what's called total 2. Okay. Now, total 2 is the total market cap of altcoins. Basically, you can see how is the altcoin market as a whole doing. Is it up? Is it down? Is it sideways? Good, bad, ugly? So the reason I like to look at it is because it gives me that broad perspective that I need. So when I look at the altcoin market, I see a picture that I don't think anyone else really sees, or that I've seen here on YouTube. I think a lot of people are looking at the altcoin market extremely pessimistically. I think they're incredibly upset by the performance of altcoins recently. And I think everyone is truly, truly annoyed with altcoins for the most part, unless they're long-term DCAers. Now, I understand the sentiment, and the sentiment is generally just because altcoins have not done well. Since December 7th of 2024, the altcoin market has basically just gone down. We saw a little bit of recovery from April to May, but from there, it just started going back down again, making people feel as if, man, like this thing isn't even fun. Like we were going down for so long last year, then it got boring and sideways, and then we got what? Let's see what this was. We got 36 days of a pump, and then we just went right back down. If we look at this, it's kind of wild that we spent in the last 476 days, we spent like 30 of those days going up, and like that's it. Right? It can be a little bit frustrating, and it's totally understandable, right? But I look at the way in which this is shaping a little bit different whenever I do macro structural analysis, okay? So when I look at the total altcoin market and I'm trying to answer the question, can the altcoin market see a massive breakout? I need to be looking and thinking, okay, are there things happening that are taking steps toward it? Because if the altcoin market is taking steps toward a breakout's possible, which I think is a fair opinion. So what I first start looking at is, okay, let's look at just the general structure that we have here. We have a low. We have this previous high. We had a low. We had a higher high. We had a higher low. Very basic stuff, but what does this tell me? Well, it tells me that over those 400 days that things have not been doing great, we have still generally and considerably been in an uptrend in which we have not been setting lower highs and lower lows. As many people think, altcoins are back at bear market lows and all of these things, but I do disagree. I think bear market lows, we're back here. Boom. I don't think we're there yet, right? Some altcoins are, but the altcoin market as a whole is not. Whereas we have throughout 2024 to now been in an uptrend gradually, slowly, annoyingly, but we have been in an uptrend in which we have seen higher highs and higher lows. Okay. Now, when we zoom that in a little bit more, the picture becomes even more evident to me. So what we can see is that Bitcoin's price started to fall in December of 2024 all the way down. And as it did this, something very important happened. Bitcoin was capable of finding support on a level which is one of the most important levels in the world, which is called the golden Fibonacci zone. The golden Fibonacci zone for the altcoin market sat between 989 billion and 862 billion. It's this gold box right here. And what you can see is that based on this move from this low to this high, Bitcoin came back down and found this Fibonacci golden zone, using it as support to continue back upwards. And what this entailed is that Bitcoin, again, is not just losing all of its, or sorry, I said Bitcoin, but the altcoin market is not just losing all its support. No, it is maintaining very great levels of support and trying to use those levels of support as a foundation to try to continue upwards, which is a fantastic sign that under the right circumstances, with enough of an injection of liquidity and, of course, macro political and economic influence, we could see the altcoin market give us some gains. Now, after establishing the support, we saw the altcoin market push upwards. Where did it push upwards to? Well, of course, it pushed upwards to the top side golden zone almost perfectly. I mean, dang near kissed this thing right here, right? And then after running into this topside golden zone, what did it do? It got rejected to the downside, which is normal. Because a lot of people made it out as if this move for the altcoin markets was not normal. The second that altcoins started falling again, everyone started freaking out and screaming that this was the end of the world. But the truth is, we will almost always see the altcoin market get rejected off of this Fibonacci golden zone. It is just what it does. And so the fact that the altcoin market was capable of finding this support here, using the support to push to the top side, run into resistance, and just get rejected downwards is not a bad thing to me. It is a structural thing to me. And I'm under the belief that under the right circumstances in which the altcoin market is capable of seeing some sort of liquidity injection from the real world, and as long as the geopolitical and macro-political and macroeconomic scene looks okay, as long as nothing terrible happens in the world, I think that there is a fantastic argument in which we say, well, Bitcoin, I keep saying Bitcoin, sorry about that, guys. The altcoin market has found some support, used that support, run into resistance, coming back for a back test, and using this to try to create a higher low. And from a more macro perspective, it is still setting higher lows and it is still setting higher highs, all of which could be a perfect recipe for the altcoin market to try to run back up to 1.27 million, finally clear this level of resistance, set that cup and handle or that Adam and Eve pattern, right? We have the cup and handle, we have the Adam and Eve, whatever you want to look at it as, and then use that to continue upwards. I think there is a world in which this happens, and although it is less likely, in my opinion, than Bitcoin breaking out of this descending channel, I still think it is extremely possible. And so what I would say is that as long as the altcoin market doesn't fall back below 183 billion, as long as we are above this low, we are in perfect formation, in perfect condition for the altcoin market to try to make this move, to break this resistance and continue upwards, as long as the environment around crypto allows this to happen. So my answer of whether or not the altcoin market can see a massive breakout is a little bit yes of an ecstatic yes, or a little bit less than an ecstatic yes, but it is a yes. I think it is very possible that the altcoin market can try to maintain the support, stay above this $990 billion to $860 billion range, and use this to continue upwards. I think it's extremely possible. I see no reason as to why this can't happen. And while we are setting these higher lows and these higher highs, I think all of this is possible, especially when you blend in the fact that the weekly RSI, for example, has seen this bearish or this bullish divergence, which we had this low, we had this higher low right up here. Boom. At the same time, our weekly RSI, for example, gave us a low and gave us a lower low. You see how this one goes up and this one goes down? That's called bullish divergence. And it means that you're getting a beautiful reset here. And oftentimes that is followed by a pump, which could very well be exactly what we're seeing start here. So with all of these things considered, my answer for the altcoin market is less of I have less conviction with the yes as I do for Bitcoin, but I do believe that it is yes. The altcoin market can absolutely see a breakout. And I think it's yes, Bitcoin specifically can absolutely see a breakout. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue buying up my Bitcoin. I'm going to continue buying up some altcoins whenever they're in good position. And I'm going to keep trading this range on Bitcoin as I have been, buying towards the lows, selling towards the tops, over and over and over again. That's my plan for Bitcoin. And for altcoins, I'm just looking for opportunities. I'm going in and I'm trying to find these opportunities of when I can buy either my big bags, right? My Solanas, my SWIs, my XRPs, whatever it may be, right? Whenever I can buy those at low points. So like for a SWI, for example, I might be looking to accumulate this on like the golden zone or something towards the bottom side, or Solana, for example, same thing, right? I'd be looking to maybe accumulate if Solana can come back down to say, if I can get a Solana around 125 bucks, I'd love to buy it in this bottom side golden zone. And then for my smaller bags, right, my simple AIs, my Constellation networks, my Cubit, I actually bought a little bit of Cubit the other day. I'm looking for just good buying opportunities on these ones. As you all can see, just a couple days ago, I did tell my Discord community, which is the school, as you guys can see, the Crypto Strategy School. I did tell them that I would update them soon, but I recently started speaking to the team from Cubit through my role at my company, and they honestly look solid. Really strong team with a good idea, has some great advisors around them that I know personally. Think I'm going to throw some cash at the token soon, as it listed yesterday in it's cooled off. We'll update. Feel free to check them out if you're curious. Then just a day later, I told him that I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that. And what you guys can see is that about 24 hours later, that position was up over 30% already, at one point being up 60% in just less than 24 hours. Now, the reason why I purchased Cubit was just because I liked it. It was very new. Again, I had already talked to some of the advisors and some of the people on the team through my role at my company Fluence, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it looks good. What they do is they're tapping into a niche and a narrative that I've not tapped into before. They're kind of in the quantum computing narrative, which I think is I think they're early to it. I think quantum computing is a narrative that's going to become extremely popular in crypto, just not right now. I think we're still in the AI deepen RWA wave. I think quantum computing is going to have its shine, its moment, especially as the world starts to truly understand what it is. And when that time comes, companies like Cubit are going to be the ones who can capitalize on it. Now, what you can see is that they've made it extremely simple. Although quantum computing can feel extremely complicated, they've made it simple. They said quantum computing has left the lab. Real hardware is accessible, but most developers remain locked out, trapped behind academic gatekeeping, enterprise paywalls, and outdated infrastructure, and that's where they step in. What they're doing is they're giving users access to QPUs, and they are making quantum programmable. So it's not something that's super confusing. It's not something that's super complicated, especially for programmers and devs. What they're doing is that Cubit turns real-time quantum entropy and circuit execution into Web3 native tools that can be called from smart contracts, protocols, and dApps. So they're intertwining the world of Web3 into quantum computing, simplifying it so that devs and programmers can start to interact with it themselves and use it to start injecting things into Web3. And of course, they're capitalizing on it through their token, the Cubit token. Now, I'm not going to dive super deep into this because I do want to talk about them a lot more in the future, but they do have a lot of very exciting things that's happening. What you can see is their stack is actually pretty impressive. So they have Cubit Craft and they have Cubit Sim, both of which are going to, again, start bridging that gap between Web3 and quantum computing. And through this, I think we're going to see a lot of fantastic things happen. They already have the dApp going, in which you can start to see that some of this is shaping out. And again, it is very early, but they have done extremely well. Their launch went fantastic. They cleared that $14 million market cap at one point, and they're holding up well. The community is looking good. Trading volume is still holding up for, pretty dang on good. Their Twitter is seeing some growth. The community is seeing some growth. So I did add them to my bag. And so that was the only new crypto that I added over the last couple of days. I do, of course, still have my Constellation Network, which I told you about not too long ago. I do still have some of my Simple AI. I have a bunch of those other ones. So I haven't been adding many more new cryptos to my bags recently, just a little bit of Cubit. And I do have my eye on a crypto that is in the RWA narrative, but it's a little too early for me to talk about it here on YouTube because obviously that can be a little bit risky. So I'm going to keep my eye on it, and I'll update you guys if I do decide to pull the trigger on it, or if I decide that I want to kind of go for it. So for smaller altcoins, that's what I'm doing. I don't even really consider what's happening with Bitcoin when I think about small alts. All of our small alts aren't performing fantastic, so I'm just looking for things that are valuable. For my big alts, I'm looking for good entry opportunities if we can get some real nice support levels. And for Bitcoin, I'm range trading, in which I am going in, and I'm buying, of course, when we're in this 50 to 25% range. I'm selling when they're in that 175% range, and I'm just waiting for it to play out. So that's what I'm doing. That's my full overview, my full, synopsis of this entire crypto market and where everything's at. So, of course, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you think that a massive breakout could be inbound for crypto? Don't forget to go watch these videos at the link down below so you can learn more about BTCZ and how you can capitalize on this offer, and go get your crypto playbook free chapters today with the link down below. But overall, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Today is my birthday, so I'm going to go spend a little bit of time with family. So I can't wait to see you all in the next one, and I hope y'all have a great day as well. See you, everybody.